Tonight on CTV News, the Morgan Library Cube is closed due to bed bugs.
Then we'll tell you more about last year's arrest at Bondi Beach Bar.
And the overcrowding problem in CSU's resident hall is investigated.
All this and more from the people you know, starting now on CTV. Good evening, CSU. Tonight we start with some breaking news from the Larimer County Justice Center. The verdict on the Boucher versus CSU Board of Directors case is in. I'm Edgar Cedillo.
And I'm Christina Lane. Here's what's happening in the news near you.
Earlier this evening, the jury for the lawsuit against CSU found that the actions taken against Christina Boucher by CSU were not harmful to her. No damages were awarded to Boucher. Boucher was a former assistant professor in the computer sciences department. She sued the university for what she felt was retaliation against filing a sexual assault complaint about a fellow professor. You can follow the Collegian for more updates.
Students were put into temporary housing in study rooms and basements in resident halls across campus upon their arrival to CSU. Approximately 5,300 students, the class of 2022 is the largest ever admitted, and housing and dining services had to accommodate more students than the admission office had previously indicated. Students will be moved out of temporary housing gradually as rooms become available. In response to the increasing demand for housing, CSU is planning to build a new resident hall where Aylesworth and Newsom halls are currently located.
The new Michael Smith Natural Resource Building has officially opened up after 6 years of construction. The building boasts floor-to-ceiling windows, a patio with views of the Rocky Mountains, and a state-of-the-art technology throughout. Additionally, the First Floor Student Success Center will offer support to members of the Warner College. Renovations of the original building are still on the horizon, but construction progress will be completed by the end of the fall semester.
After jury deliberation, CSU student Michaela Surratt was found guilty last week of 2 misdemeanor charges after her arrest video went viral last year. The charges consist of obstruction of a peace officer and resisting arrest, which has seemed to create even more controversy surrounding the case.
It was here last year at Bondi Beach Bar in Old Town where 22-year-old Michaela Surratt was forced to the ground by police officer Randall Franger. The video gained nearly 800,000 views and sparked national headlines. In the third and final trial last Friday, Surratt was found guilty with Class 2 misdemeanor charges of obstruction of a police officer and resisting arrest. And the cases continue to raise controversy following her conviction.
I understand the resisting arrest, maybe not the other charge. However, granted, like what happened in the video, that like it looked like she might have gotten injured from it or something, and that I don't personally think that the police was justified.
Fort Collins Police Chief Jeff Swoboda stated he respects everyone's right to a fair trial, and that this case sparked many conversations within the community. And he is committed to continuing the discussion about use of force and the responsibilities of all parties involved.
He's not free to go, but you keep walking. Back off. No, back up.
No matter what, how you talk to a police officer, like, it needs to be politely, it needs to be very respectfully. And, you know, if she wasn't treating the police officer with respect, if she wasn't treating the bouncer with respect, then, you know, your consequences, or like your actions have consequences. But on the police officer's standpoint, like, you know, like he did what he thought he needed to do during that time.
Maybe it's a lapse of judgment, like an instant that he had, or that officer had. But yeah, man, that's the problem with being an officer, military, or paramedic, is that you signed up to make snap decisions.
Surratt is currently out of custody on bond until her sentencing hearing, which is scheduled for September 21st. Surratt's attorney says their next step is federal court, where he plans to sue Clamser and the city of Fort Collins for use of excessive force.
Both charges carry a sentence of 3 to 12 months of potential jail time and a fine for up to $1,000. Surratt's attorney says their next step is federal court, where he plans to sue Clamser and the city of Fort Collins for use of excessive force.
The CSU Career Center and the Office of Financial Aid are partnering up to make a more robust student employment program. This change will house non-financial aid opportunities in the Career Center, giving students a more focused and tailored experience. As a result, employers have will have the one-point access to recruit students for internships and positions. And on-campus employers will have additional tools to prepare their students for employment opportunities.
At the beginning of the new school year, the Ramscaler implemented a rule that will not allow pictures to be sold to students.
The Ramscaler, located in the Laurie Student Center, recently took away pictures at the popular pub on campus. Robert Peters, the Business and Dining Services Director for the LSC, spoke about the removal of pictures from the Scaler.
Since we don't we don't limit it to 21 and over, any age can come in. Well, that creates a serious liability for us and the university, in that and we don't like stop you from bringing a backpack or a Nalgene or a Subway cup or what have you. And if your friend goes and buys a pitcher and everybody at his table is under 21, but they all have Subway cups. So it creates a liability for us. There's nothing worse for us as an institution when we have such a treasure as the Ramscaler.
Roberts also looked at options that would benefit students as well as the administration.
There's a lot of things that come into play with this decision. It's not just because I said, let's get rid of pictures. That certainly wasn't the goal. It was looking at what was in the best interest of the university, what was in the best interest of the Ramscaler, what was in the best interest, frankly, of the students.
Roberts pointed out that the Scaler is unique compared to other bars in the city.
We're not a bar like in Fort Collins. That's not our thing. We're here really as a service to the students. So getting rid of the pictures, I think, is a small price to pay for being able to continue to have something that's cool as the Ramscaler.
Peter says that the student reaction, for the most part, has been accepting.
The Morgan Library Study Cube has been closed since August 24th, following reports of a possible bedbug outbreak. An exterminator visited the cube to treat the affected area, and staff will steam all furniture in the areas of the building. There has been no evidence of bedbugs in the main library or other buildings on campus. Students who see evidence of pests are encouraged to contact Environmental Health Services or a building official.
CSU kicked off its new Proud to Be marketing campaign at last Saturday's football game in Canvas Stadium. The campaign features CSU alumni from different backgrounds and showcases their various pursuits they have followed since graduation. The mini-documentary series will continue to debut and profile different graduates in the coming months.
It's pretty sweet getting to watch that at the game this weekend. It was nice to see the reaction that the crowd had.
Definitely inspirational, I would say.
Sweet. Yeah, it makes us proud to be Rams, right?
Yeah.
Well, that's all we have for news.
Stay tuned for weather, sports, and entertainment.